Hey there everybody, just doing a review for this ALLPOWERS R600 portable power station. I'm not too sure if you've already heard about ALLPOWERS or not. I've done a review for one of their other power stations. And in this case, with this R600 power station, this is their new unit. And it definitely is, more on the cutting edge in terms of a portable power station because it features higher end specs, such as lithium iron phosphate batteries, which is a big plus because you get 3,500 plus charge cycles, while the power station still maintains 80% or more of its battery capacity. And so what's included in the box with the unit is this XT60 to MC4 charging cable for solar recharging. You get a AC charging cable because this power station uses that direct AC recharging method, which is really fast. I think this 299 watt hour capacity is able to recharge at, I think, 400 watts, which is really fast. So the recharging for this power station is a big improvement over their previous models. You also get the warranty card and the manual, and also a carrying case right over here that you can use to carry the included accessories like the solar charging cable and the AC charging cable. And so just taking a closer look at the R600 itself, it is a pretty small unit. It does have a 11 by 7 by 7 inch form factor, and it weighs about 16 pounds, and so pretty small and kind of on the lightweight side, to be honest. And so at the front is where you're going to be spending most of your time. Oh, also I forgot to mention the specs, but yeah, anyways, this power station does have a 299 watt hour capacity, and it does have a 600 watt max output. And like I said before, it does feature lithium iron phosphate batteries, and so it does meet a more modern standard for a power station, and so automatically this puts it above regular lithium ion power stations. And so at the front, it does have the screen, the cigarette lighter port, the AC outlets, and the charging ports. The cigarette lighter port and the two DC 5521 ports are able to output 120 watts. The two AC outlets right over here are able to output pure sine wave at 600 watts. The charging ports on this power station are really good. This is probably the best charging port section I've seen on a power station. Not maybe the best, because I know the EcoFlow Delta 2 power station had some really good charging ports as well. But for a 600 watt power station, and one as small as this unit has two 100 watt USB-C power delivery ports and two USB Type A quick charge ports. This isn't too common with these type of mini power stations, but yeah, that's incredible. I did test out the charging ports already, and I was able to output 100 watts from one USB-C port and 65 watts from the other USB-C port, and I'll be showing that in this review as well. And so you get a flashlight right over there as well. This is the main power button. You just got to hold it down, or just press it once actually, to turn on the power station. And the screen is bright and easy to read. It does show the remaining battery capacity percentage right there, wattage input, wattage output, and the estimated runtime. And so when you're not using the power station, it's able to tell you how many days the unit has left of capacity when you have it on, that is. So if you turn off the power station, it's going to be using barely any power, but even when you have the unit on, it's going to be depleting some power. And in this case, at 51% with the power station being on, it's going to last about 3 days unless you turn it off, which I highly recommend you do if you're not using the power station. It does have a Bluetooth feature because it does feature app compatibility with ALLPOWERS app that you can find on the App Store for iOS devices and the Google Play Store for Android devices. And I'll be showing the app compatibility as well in this review. Over at the top, you do get wireless charging at 15 watts. And I just have my phone right over here as well, so I can just place it right there. I think you have to have the charging ports on though. And yeah, fast wireless charging is happening for my Galaxy Note 9. Once again, 15 watts of fast wireless charging is available. And so the handle at the top right there, it just comes out just like that and goes right back in. Over to the right side is where you're gonna find the input ports for the unit. And something that I found pretty cool about this power station is this green color right over here. It reminds me of the Xbox Series X. At the top of the Xbox Series X, it has like that slight green in between the circles, and in this case it also has this green. It just reminded me of the Xbox Series X. But anyways, yeah, this is where you're gonna find the input ports right over here under this covering. That's pretty sturdy. Yeah, there we go. This is the AC input that you would use with the included AC charging cable. It does have the XT60 port right there that you would use with the included XT60 to MC4 cable, or any other XT60 cable that you used for solar recharging. And so yeah, there we go. That is the recharging for the unit. Over at the back of the power station there is nothing, and over to the left side nothing as well, but we get that you know, that green color. And so when it comes to activating each of the sections, as you probably saw me do, I did press the power button for the charging ports, and that activates the charging ports and the DC ports right over here. The AC outlets have their own power button that you can just press, and the fan just turn on just momentarily, and it turns off, and it has that green color to show that the AC outlets are on. And it also shows you on the screen, depending on what section you have turned on with the power station. It does have a flashlight right up here. Just press it once to activate the constant on mode. I think you gotta hold it down to activate the SOS mode. Yeah, there we go. And you can just press it again to just turn it off. And yeah, with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and start doing the DC capacity testing and the AC capacity testing to check how much of the 299 watt hour capacity I can actually use from this unit. And then I'm going to move on into like general testing with the AC outlets and the charging ports to see what this power station is actually capable of. And I will also be doing the recharging testing as well. And yeah, I will be right back. All right, you guys, so just running the DC capacity test for the ALLPOWERS R600 power station. I just started the DC capacity test as well. It's just been running for about 40 seconds so far. Just gonna run down the capacity for the power station down to 0% to see how much of that DC capacity efficiency I can pull from it. And yeah, I do have a 120 watt draw of power going on, which is the max output of the cigarette lighter port right over here. And I'll be right back to check on that DC capacity efficiency. Alright, you guys, so I did run down the capacity for the ALLPOWERS R600 power station down to 0%. And so what I ended up with was a 277 watt hour capacity, and that gave me about a 92% efficiency rating, which is really good. So you're able to use most of the capacity from this power station from the DC outlet, and also with a 120 watt load of power. The runtime for the power station was about 2.5 hours, well, 2 hours and 23 minutes to be exact. But yeah, DC capacity efficiency for this unit is really good. You're able to use most of the 299 watt hours that it initially starts out with. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this recharged back up to 100% to run the AC capacity test. Alright, guys, so just doing the AC capacity test for the ALLPOWERS R600 power station. I'm running this crockpot right over here on its high setting. I'm pulling about 200 watts, and I'm just going to wait until the power station reaches 0% to check on the AC capacity efficiency. The DC capacity efficiency for this ALLPOWERS power station was really good. I'm going to see if the AC capacity efficiency is able to match it. And so yeah, I will be right back to see about the AC capacity efficiency. Alright, guys, so I did run down the capacity for the ALLPOWERS R600 power station using the crockpot. And so for the AC capacity, I got a 250 watt hour capacity, and that gave me about a 83% efficiency rating. So a bit lower than the DC capacity test, but you know, still this is above the 80% range, and in my opinion this is still pretty good. And ultimately you're able to use most of the 299 watt hour capacity from the R600 power station. And so yeah, I mean, it gets a thumbs up from me simply because we're above 80%. You know, some power stations go below 80% into 70% ranges, even 60% ranges with some power stations that I've reviewed. Alright, guys, so I just thought I would show you the recharging for the power station as well as the app compatibility with the ALLPOWERS app. And so when it comes to the app, it does show the battery percentage right over there, the estimated runtime, the input wattage, and the output wattage all real time. It lets you remotely turn on and turn off sections of the power station. So right over here, I can choose to turn off the AC outlet, I believe. Oh no, so actually you can't turn off the AC outlets while you're recharging from the AC input, because the power station does feature UPS. It's a uninterrupted power supply. And so what that means is that you can actually plug in an appliance to the AC outlet, and it will be powered from the outlet that you have the AC charging cable plugged into. And so that's why you can't turn off the AC outlets while you're recharging the power station. So I mean, that's not really a big deal, to be honest. You know, if you don't want to power something, you don't want to power something, that's fine. You can turn on the charging ports and the DC ports from the app, as well as the LED light right there, all remotely. But yeah, anyways, over on this side into the settings, it does have a work mode. You can change the modes. So in this case, I do have the power station set to mute mode, and in this case, the AC recharging is set to about 120 watts, and that prevents the fan from turning on while you're recharging the unit. And so the fans are kind of loud on this power station. I think it's one of the biggest flaws of the unit, if not the only flaw for the power station. So in case you're sleeping and you don't want the power station making any noise, and you don't care about the recharging speed, mute mode is definitely the way to go. And it's great that they have this type of feature with it, that you can actually customize the recharging speed and have control over the fan, at least when you're recharging the power station. And so the other two modes is standard mode. I think it's going to recharge the power station at 300 watts. Just give it a second. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's going to recharge the unit at about 330 watts, which is a pretty good recharging speed for a 299 watt hour capacity. I would recommend using this recharging speed most often if you want a balance of noise and recharging time. And so the fastest mode is fast mode, of course. Just set it to that, and it's going to recharge the power station at about 436 watts right there. And that is really fast. That is blazing fast for a 299 watt hour capacity. I think the power station is able to recharge within about an hour with this type of fast recharging speed. And so maybe it's not the best idea to use the fast recharging speed too often, because you don't want to wear out the batteries, but it's definitely convenient to have. And then there's eco mode. And what eco mode, yeah, there we go, that's the fan right there. And so it's a bit loud, not like too loud, but if you have it close to you, the fan can be kind of loud. And so I'm just gonna set it back to mute mode so you can hear me. But yeah, eco mode on this power station is when the AC and DC output is below 10 watts, and you can have the power station automatically shut off. And you can also customize the time, so if the output is about 5 watts, after about 1 hour the power station would automatically shut off. Or like after about 6 hours, the power station would automatically shut off if the output is 10 watts or below. And so yeah, there we go. The fan just turned off, and you can see how quiet it is. There we go. That is really all there is to it with the app compatibility. There is fast recharging. Let me go ahead and test out the fast recharging with this power station. All right, guys. So just outside with the R600 power station, I am recharging it using the 100 watt ALLPOWERS solar panel that I have used previously with one of ALLPOWERS' other power station. And so yeah, I'm recharging it using the XT60 input port over to the side of the unit. And I'm currently getting about a 70 watt recharging speed, a solar recharging speed. Pretty good sun exposure on the panels, not exactly the clearest day. However, this power station does have a 300 watt max solar recharging speed from the XT60 input. So I would recommend using a 200 watt or a 300 watt solar panel to recharge it with. And as you can see, the clouds are getting in the way of the sun, and so the solar recharging is going a bit down. So I would highly recommend using a 200 watt or 300 watt solar panel to make the most of the solar recharging. But if you do have a 100 watt panel and you don't want to spend money on a 200 watt or a 300 watt solar panel, a 100 watt panel will do you just fine for this 299 watt hour power station, provided that you have enough sun exposure on panels. But yeah, a 100 watt panel is going to be just fine for a mini power station like this. But if you want a really fast solar recharging speed, a 200 watt or 300 watt panel will take that even further. All right, you guys, so I just wanted to show you guys the fast recharging for the R600 power station. I currently have the unit recharging on the fast mode, which is recharging at about 430 watts. I am powering this crock pot right over here at its high setting. We're pulling about 250 watts. And so yeah, fast recharging is available from this power station. No surprises right there. It's just a neat feature to have in case you want to recharge the unit and power an appliance at the same time. But just make sure that the appliance that you're powering is below 400 watts, because you want the unit to recharge and power an appliance at the same time. Otherwise, it's going to drain the power capacity if the output power is more than the input power. But yeah, there we go. And also the UPS feature is on. You can see on the screen it says UPS right there, the uninterrupted power supply feature, that is. It does have a 10 millisecond switch over time. So if I unplug this AC charging cable right over here, the switch over from the direct AC outlet right over here to the power station powering this crock pot is 10 milliseconds. And also, as we just saw, the output power went from 250 watts to about 208 watts. So I think that's an indication also that the UPS feature is working. And so yeah, there we go. That is the fast recharging and the UPS feature for the ALLPOWERS R600 power station. Just taking a look at the app right over here. As I mentioned before, I'm not too sure if I showed it, but it is able to show the wattage output real time as well. And it was also showing the wattage input when I had the power station recharging. And so yeah, overall, really neat features. It just meets the modern standard for what a mini power station should feature. You know, fast recharging, UPS, it's just all there. And it's just really good to see a smaller brand like ALLPOWERS, you know, catching up to those higher tier brands. And yeah, there we go. All right, you guys, so just doing some general AC outlet testing for the R600 power station. I do have a heater right over here connected to the AC outlet. Of course, I don't think the power station is going to be able to handle the output power to power this LASCO heater. Even on its low setting, I think the LASCO heater is rated for about like 750 watts. And, you know, just a reminder that this unit does have a 600 watt max output from the AC outlets. But I just want to see what happens. I want to see if it's actually able to possibly run the heater, or if it just automatically shuts off, which is what I'm expecting. But yeah, I'm just going to turn on the heater real quick to its low setting, and we're just going to see what happens. You know, once again, I think the power station is just going to automatically shut off, which is fine. You know, that's what it's supposed to do in this case. But yeah, let's just see what happens. Okay, going up in wattage. All right, about to cross over above 600 watts. Yep, there we go. Okay, probably should shut off anytime soon in a second. Yep, there we go. And we get the error message, we get the beeping. I wish there was a way to turn off the beeping. But yeah, anyways, there we go. So as you can see, I would consider this power station to have a 600 watt cap. So, you know, going above 600 watts will automatically shut off the unit. All right, you guys, so just testing out the charging ports on the R600 power station. I am charging my X-Edge's power bank and my Lenovo laptop from the two USB-C 100 watt power delivery ports. And I am charging my Galaxy Note 9 from one of the USB Type A quick charge ports. And so I have my X-Edge's power bank charging at about 100 watts. Well, you know, 97.8 watts, but basically the same thing as 100 watts. And I have my Lenovo laptop charging at about 25 watts. And my Galaxy Note 9 is charging, well, it's fast charging from the USB Type A quick charge port. And so yeah, I mean, there we go. You know, once again, these are probably the best charging ports that I've seen with a power station within this capacity range, because, you know, most power stations within this you know, 600 watt 299 watt hour capacity range usually have a 60 watt USB-C power delivery port, or maybe a single 100 watt USB-C power delivery port. But in this case, it has two 100 watt USB-C power delivery ports. And so that's really good. You're able to charge most USB-C chargeable laptops at their max speed. And in this case, you're able to fast charge two laptops at the same time at their max speed if you want to. And also, let me just go ahead and do something real quick. Let me unplug my Lenovo laptop and plug in this Basis power bank right over here. I think this Basis power bank has a 65 watt max recharging speed. Let me go ahead and test that out real quick. Just plugged in right here. And so yeah, there we go, going up in the wattage, and yeah, about 65 watts right there. And the X-Edge's power bank is still recharging at about 98 watts, and my Galaxy Note 9 is still fast charging from the quick charge port. And so yeah, I mean, once again, the charging ports on this power station are incredible. They are excellent. All right, you guys, so just my final thoughts for the ALLPOWERS R600 power station. You know, when it comes to the build quality of the unit, it's just really solid all around. It's just made of plastic like most other power stations. Just gotta follow the general rule of thumb, and that would be, you know, not to drop the unit and not to expose it to water. You know, when it comes to the specs, it follows like all the golden rules I would expect from a modern power station. It features lithium iron phosphate batteries that are able to last 3,500 or more charge cycles. You know, in comparison to lithium ion batteries, you know, lithium iron phosphate is what you want with a power station that you're going to buy. And you know, when it comes to the general specs as well, 600 watts, 299 watt hour capacity that has a good efficiency. We were able to go over an 80% efficiency on the DC and AC capacity side. The charging ports on this power station are incredible. You know, two USB-C 100 watt power delivery ports and two USB Type A quick charge port. There are no standard USB Type A ports on this power station, which is good to see. You know, it's time to leave those in the past at this point. The AC outlets, 600 watts is a decent amount of power to power certain appliances. And also, you know, along with the pass-through charging and the UPS feature, this power station definitely fits, you know, up to modern standards as well. The recharging for this power station off to the side, with the AC recharging maxing out at about 430 watts and a 300 watt max solar recharging speed. You know, power stations with this type of capacity usually have a 100 watt or 200 watt solar recharging speed that they max out at, but this one takes it to another level with a 300 watt max solar recharging speed. You know, I really don't see that too often. The screen is detailed, and overall, I mean, All Powers is just really coming out swinging. With this R600 power station, it just has everything that you could expect from a mini power station, and I think it's definitely worth the price. And so I will have a link to this power station down in the description below. I will also have a link to the review article over at chargerharbor.com in case you want to read a review for this power station. And I will see you all on the next video. All right, goodbye.